If you're here, that's because you saw it. Felt it, didn't you? That hitch in your stomach the moment the ending landed, but didn't settle. Everything looked fine. The credits rolled, story was over. But then the screen flickered, and for half a second you knew this wasn't how it was supposed to end.
And with the moon shining down brighter than ever, I think everyone is going to sleep well tonight.
But what does this mean? Folks, here's how we're going to discuss this. I have two possible explanations, with the latter being the most terrifying explanation and grander in scope than the last. Such a scenario would no doubt result in the heavenly principles and the four shades being forced to take action, because it would indicate Teyvat has changed forever. And if you look at chapters, by the way, you're cheating bastard. And really quick, before we start, let me ask you guys a question. Do you like money? Of course you do. Great. Let me save you some money thanks to today's sponsor, Top Up Live. Without a doubt, the #1 third-party top-up site. Top Up Live offers you massively discounted prices for in-game currency for a wide array of titles. I mean, just look at this exhaustive list, but most importantly, Genshin Impact, with deals ranging from 19% off all the way to 28% off. All you have to do is select your pack, enter your user ID and server, pay now, and boom, within honestly a couple seconds, the primos hit your accounts. No login is needed. Furthermore, for an extra 12% discount, use my code DAW, which you can find in the description and pinned comment section. And of course the bio. Let's start with the simplest answer. The screen flickering is metaphorical, a sign that Dottore either didn't die in battle or lives on via other means, most likely another segment. This scenario seems to be dictated by two things, the first one being the most bizarre, which is that some people simply can't bring themselves to believe Dottore could be dead. Not sure why, this company and this game certainly have no problem killing off harbingers. Further, some believe Dottore too smart to have died. He's always 11 steps ahead or some baloney. But what exactly was this shown in the story? Dottore did some dumb-ass shit in the story. For instance, what exactly was the purpose of splitting the sky here? Like genuinely, what did this do besides aura form? He doesn't even have a connection to the frost moon because the moon marrow he made to take its place is artificial. He literally just opened the sky for no other reason than for vibes. And look what happened, man. The frost moon gets dragged through it, causing this nigga to panic and quickly reclose the opening, but it was too late by that point because the frost moon was dragged down to Earth. Columbina was whole again, able to be reborn, fight him, causing him to lose. This is the hallmark of a genius? This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen! Furthermore, I don't know if what I'm about to say is Hoyo just being incapable of writing truly powerful characters into their story. You know what, here's the best way I can explain this to you guys. You guys ever play Batman Arkham Knight? It's essentially just a story of Gotham being taken over by this army and trying to kill Batman. High-tech army, really advanced, must have cost a lot. Long story short, they didn't kill Batman, but, here's this one street thug who says the realest shit.
Give me half the money they spent on this army, and I'd kill the bat in 2 seconds.
Now the point obviously being, what are the army doing with all this money and power to where they can't get the job done? Now, I bring this up because I, like this thug, am having difficulties understanding how Dottore, with Tri-Lune authority, couldn't get the job done. You give me his powers. I'm already 4 years into the war, 1v5 against Celestia, trying to make my new world. I'm not sitting here losing to the fucking power of friendship. As soon as I snap my fingers, Lauma, Flynn's, Nefer, they're all dead. They're not making it to the fucking point where we're sitting here doing some epic battle. He had the power to rewrite the rules of reality, warp the flow of time around a specific area or person, recreate the past, or so he claimed. Instant teleportation of others. And what does he do with these powers? He curses his enemies, except the curse only activates if they leave Nod-krai. Alrighty. Genuinely, how much of a fucking joke must you be to where you couldn't force not the hand of one shade? Forget the shades, you couldn't even rope in an archon to get involved to stop you. Best you got was some vague agreement that if the, Fatui bodies started dropping, the Tsaritsa would get involved.
All Fatui stationed in Nod-krai consider it our duty to stay and fight him to the bitter end. Whatever the cost.
Hey, don't be too pessimistic. If it comes to it, I'm sure Her Majesty won't stand by and do nothing.
I hope you're right.
But even that didn't end up happening. You're a joke! A buffoon! Genius. I damn well could see this fool being dead. A genius. Don't throw that word around so loosely, people. Now, the heavenly principles, they're a genius. Now, the second part to why people argue Dottore could live on following this ending is because look closely at the screen flickering. In the corners of the screen, we spot these blue lines with circles at their endpoint. Folks, this is the exact same design seen on the false god Dottore, which would seem to indicate his death is not as straightforward as we're to believe. Otherwise, why show us this? What purpose does it serve? Now, this isn't to say Dottore survived this blast. This Dottore, is most certainly dead, because we know for a fact that Columbina retrieved the moon marrows from his possession and returned them to Lauma and Arlecchino, but just because this Dottore is dead doesn't mean Dottore is dead. Folks, segments. While yes, Dottore was once forced to delete all his segments, there was nothing other than time and resources barring him from creating more, both of which he had in Snezhnaya. Think about it. Dottore has had this plan to steal the moon's powers for quite some time. The game expressly states as such.
Well, in that case, he'll be in his lab way up north. I always wondered why he applied for his own private pad. He was planning this all along.
He'd been collecting fragments of my body for a long time. All so that he could resurrect me at the moment of his choosing.
So that's why the Wild Hunt suddenly became so active in Nod-krai. When I left the Fatui in my weakened state, Dottore must have felt that his time had come.
Given his ultimate goal was to create a new world, that road would have eventually led to the heavenly principles in Four Shades. Dottore certainly must have known this. Now, was Dottore truly confident enough that he could have defeated them, and his plan would go off without a hitch? I'm sure someone of Dottore's caliber could have planned ahead and created one last segment should he die in this endeavor so that Zandik could live on. Now here's the problem with this is, this design pattern, resonates far more with the false god Dottore than just Dottore, so how would the screen flickering signal anything about another segment? Who knows? Unless in his dying moments he made another segment right quick. That'd be something. Me personally, I like the Doctor. I hope he becomes playable. Anyway, it's time to discuss the possibility. Folks, above all else, this screen flickering is very reminiscent of the false sky breaking. It's the same color pattern. It looks like a glitch in reality, which is very much what the false sky breaking looks like, but what if it's finally had enough? The constant tearing and ripping has now weakened the false sky to the point it's extremely susceptible to outside invasion. We know that Tevat's borders have been growing weaker since the start of the game. It's why Alice has constantly been away, and we know during the most recent Archon quest something so big, so catastrophic happened at the border, Alice had to get every Hexenzirkel member she could get her hands on to help.
We're still facing quite a catastrophe here at the world's borders. Alice has roped in every Hexenzirkel member she can get a hold of. Except for me. Alice just informed me that they had their work cut out for them. And now everyone's thoroughly exhausted. But they did finally get things back under control. Still, we can't let our guard down yet.
And this isn't even taking into account the fact that the Frost Moon was brought from beyond the false sky into Earth's orbit, which seemingly indicates that this is a multi-layered false sky protecting not just the world, but the system around it, the star, the moons. God bless Phanes, man. Powerful beyond measure. Now, as for why Dottore's design pattern would emerge if this is the explanation, folks, it's because of the most recent events. Tevat is not as hidden as it once was.
The disruption caused by this disaster has made Tevat easier to detect from the outside universe.
So let me ask you this. In a universe choking on its own death, where life-bearing planets are few and far between, what do you think happens when the universe suddenly learns one more exists? A living world wrapped in a cracked eggshell, warm, loud, broadcasting its heartbeat across the void, and the things outside the barrier are very good at following the sound. Quote, poets often liken the starry sky to the ocean, They've seen or dreamt of countless bioluminescent plankton floating on a moonless sea resembling a galaxy, or the moonlight ripped apart by waves on the sea's surface like shimmering stars. And the most fantastical stories or outrageous lies, the stars found in the depths of the cosmos might be teeming with life, much like Teyvat, and the universe itself is akin to an ocean. Realistically speaking, however, if a profound universe full of life exists, why hasn't any of that life made contact with Teyvat? Maybe the universe has been constantly trying to infiltrate Teyvat, or maybe a higher power created borders to protect this world. Folks, the Heavenly Principles foresaw all this. They know what's out there. That's why they made the border. The world as we know it could now be on its last legs due to the literal arrogation of mankind.